If this is true, then our country is in a lot of trouble.
We would have these trips, these special trips.
But he said my daddy takes the bodies to the grocery store and he grinds them up and puts it in the hamburger. And nobody ever knows it.
How can kids 6, 8, 10 years old be describing rituals that come from a book like the Book of the Dead? It's hard to get your mind around people being capable of this kind of evil.
It's time to shake and wake up the world with the best biblical talk shows from all over the world gathered in one place. ShakeandWakeRadio.com, where the truth is all that matters, and the truth will set you free. ShakeandWakeRadio.com.
When Christ gave the Great Commission of the church, He told us to go baptize, and He told us what to teach. He said to teach the things that the Lord taught and commanded.
That was David, and this is Donna Carrico. To hear those messages on Jesus' words, go to our homepage, FOJCRadio.com. You will find links to all of our video channels and podcasts, and links to other ministries we're affiliated with. FOJCRadio.com. Thanks, and God bless.
on a person over the age of 16.
You know what? Satan is here, and he ain't going anywhere. We have your children. We have everyone that we need to defeat you, because in the last war, there was 1/3, and we almost won. Michael, Anu, I don't care what you go by now. We will defeat you.
Now, and welcome to Spiritual Warfare Friday. I'm your host, Dan Bidondi. Satan Goes to Hollywood and Wants Your Kids. And as you just seen, that was an interview I did years ago. I think it was 8 years ago in Harvard, Massachusetts, or Harvard University in Boston, Massachusetts. And that was a legit Satanist telling the truth. Literally, except for the point, they're not going to defeat Michael, God, whatever. But yeah, that's what they want. They want your children. That's exactly what it's all about. It's going after your children. And today we're going to get into that, and it's disturbing. It really is very disturbing. And we'll show you the whole interview, by the way, later on. That was crazy, man. We'll get into that then. But before we get going, guys, the Bible says, whoever shall offend one of these little ones, which believe in me, it would be better for him to tie a millstone around his neck and that he would drown in the depths of the sea. So that's the words from Jesus himself. So you are dealing with some serious, serious issues misleading children. And that goes for that so-called Satanists that we just seen there. So like always, guys, we like to begin with a prayer. So everybody wants to join us in the prayer real quick for protection and coverage. So Jesus, Yeshua Messiah, please forgive me and everybody else here for our sins that we committed today individually. And we love you so much. And Heavenly Father, we ask you for your protection, your divine protection and wisdom to expose this and also to protect us all from the forces of evil and to defeat Satan and his kingdom. And also to save the children, save our the spiritual lives of our children, Lord, and the physical lives. We ask you in your mighty name, amen. So as advertised, we were supposed to have Trey Harris on. Trey Harris, his family got sick. I guess he got some like stomach bug, whatever the case. And so he's got to tend to his kids that are sick and his wife and everything else. And so I told him, family first, don't worry about it. We'll, have him on next week, whatever the case. But yeah, Trey Harris was going to join us today. But again, stuff happens, So I'm going solo today, guys. So welcome, and after the show here, we got the question and answers Rumble show. That's coming up either at 11 o'clock, whatever, or when the show's over. We're going to go over there on Rumble, and because of the content and nature, you go out on Rumble, so we don't have to censor nothing. So that's coming up next, and I'll put the links. The link is in the description, but I'll put it in the chat room as well. And so, welcome to Spiritual Warfare Friday. Satan Goes Hollywood and Wants Your children, your kids. And thank you, ShakeAwakeRadio.com, Annie. God bless you. And thank you for carrying our shows on our awesome, amazing audio network. So, guys, if you're in a car, literally, if you're in a vehicle, you're traveling somewhere, whatever, put on ShakeAwakeRadio.com, right? And you can listen to all our shows on audio edition. So it's a good ride. I mean, you got a long trip, whatever the case, you can listen to me, David Knight, all the nice TV shows, all that good stuff. So, and also check out beforeitsnews.com as well. So again, Esther Jades is our sponsor of the show tonight. Discover the power of holistic wellness for mind, body, and spirit. Transform your life, natural solutions, and that's our Facebook page. So if you want to scan that, or go to Facebook, Esther Jades. And right now they're still working on the website, but yeah, you can order through there or the email right over here. That's the email. You can contact her direct. They got all kinds of healing products. Like always, I advertise that Pain Buster Cream, 500 milligrams of CBD. Good stuff, man. No, it doesn't get you high or nothing like that. It's nice topical cream, and that literally takes the pain away in minutes. So, and this is what it's about tonight, guys. It's going to be very graphic in nature. This is what it's about. Hollywood indoctrinating your children into Satanism. And when I say Satanism, that includes witchcraft, that includes all forms of the occult. Because if you look at TV, man, it is horrible. It really is. It's disgusting. On the television today, they got all kinds of shows about witches, warlocks, werewolves, movies, constantly galore all over the place, right? And they're glorifying us, right? So if you notice, right, the average person, I guess in this country now, they don't really stick on the God stuff, the Bible stuff with their children. They don't. They may say a prayer or two, whatever, but they're not strict into the Bible. They're not teaching the kids. They're like letting the kids off watching Disney, Nickelodeon, stuff like that, and they're not really pumping information to the children, about God and all that stuff. So, unfortunately, that's the way it is. And, years ago, the average child wouldn't know the Ten Commandments. They would know the Bible pretty good, right? Not today. They know the Disney songs well. They can recite verse for verse, sing, any Disney song, whatever the case, and recite characters and all that stuff. And yeah, but when it comes to the scriptures, yeah, they're clueless. And yeah, it's all to the parents' blame. They should be teaching the kids about God, but they're like, oh, no, we don't want to teach our kids that. Let them, when they grow up, they could decide to do what they want, right? So you think that's a good idea? Let the kids decide to do what they want and just lay off them? No, not at all. Because while you're doing that, and here's the problem, while you're doing that, right, you're not teaching, feeding the kid the word of God. While you're doing that, right, and you're not paying attention to your kids and all that, they're watching, so-called innocent shows from Nickelodeon, Disney and all that, right? And they're learning this garbage. The occult is being shoved down their face, the books too. We're going to get to a lot of this stuff here. And it's a lot of garbage, guys, it really is. And the whole basis of this, guys, and if you go strictly to the Bible, what kind of war are we dealing with? It's a propaganda war that's going on. And it's a quest for your children. And it goes so far. It's sacrificing. Man, we could go down a rabbit hole with this here today. But this is what the Bible says in Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We don't really, of course we get to arguments with people and fights, whatever. But the ultimate fighting going on right now is not, leaders or anything like that. It's the principalities against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world of high places, spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6:12. So that's what's going on. That's the the verse of spiritual warfare. And this is one of the verses here that helped inspire me to create Spiritual Warfare Friday, to get into spiritual warfare stuff that nobody else talks about and to expose it for what it is, without censoring things and just give you the hardcore truth of what's going on and, just let it all out, So that's what it's about. So the Bible says, Proverbs 22:6, to train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So what does that mean? Train up a child in the Lord. The way he should go, which is the guidance of the Lord, the Bible, right? Today, right? And when he's old, he will not depart from it. And so if you train the child right, most likely he's not going to depart from it. So as people are lukewarm that give like all of us, we're guilty of that. We don't help our children as much as we should be helping because we've got to work and everything else. But, you need to nurture your children with the Word of God. Answer questions, take time to explain things. That's what I do with my son, right? My son knows about demons and angels and all that stuff better than most adults. And he's only 12 years old. So, which is a good thing. And my wife was like, isn't that a little weird for that? And it's like, no, it's not at all. And because the children absorb things like a sponge better than we can, So, and here's the thing too, how serious Jesus is with children, And I should pull that verse up here, but I'll get to that in a little while, I guess. Because the disciples, I guess, when Jesus was talking, he was speaking to people, and a bunch of children wanted to go run up to see Jesus, right? And the disciples said, no, stay, don't go, he's speaking. Jesus stopped what he was doing, looked over to them, his disciples. It's like, yeah. He yelled at them, no, let them through, And he made an example out of everybody. He's like, listen, these kids, you need to be like these children to enter the kingdom of God. And he stopped what he was doing, an important message and everything, halted everything he had to do to address these children. So, that being said, okay, any world of the occult, they like to do everything mirror image opposite of what God teaches, right? So, they do the same thing, though. They pay attention to the kids. They use all these little tools to go after the kids to spiritually, mentally, and physically indoctrinate them. And because of YouTube, I can't talk too much about the Rainbow Club, indoctrinate kids with the drags and trans and all that stuff. That's what not the show's about today, but that is part of the agenda. But we'll talk more of a spiritual, which that is spiritual too, but you get the point. So that's what they're doing today, guys. So meanwhile, when you're ignoring them, it's like, I'll just let my kid decide. I don't know how many parents I heard say that. You know what? When my kids get older, they could decide what they wanted to believe. So into then you gotta sit on your fat ass, excuse my language, because it really ticks me off when that just goes right up my zing, and it just really ticks me off when people say that. So they sit, and you want to tell them that stuff, you do, but you gotta bite your tongue and try to get it out in a nice way. I got a bad temper sometimes, and God forgive me for my mouth, but it just really irks me, really does. Well, yeah, the mother of like they're so cocky. Well, I don't care about none of that stuff. When my kid gets old enough, he or she is gonna decide what they want to believe then. And to then, I'm not gonna force it down their throats. Oh yeah, all right. But in the meantime, you're letting the Hollywood force their agenda down their throats. Then you wonder why your kids are immoral. You wonder why your kids don't know right from wrong. And most of the time, they take after the parents. I mean, and it's not the kids' fault. I don't ever blame the kids. The first thing to blame for a child is misbehaving, whatever, is the parents. That's where it all starts from. Then the schools, and we could go down the list from there, but it starts with the parents. The parents are the front line of this whole operation. So that, again, that being said, Satanists attack that. They utilize that to attack your children. So it's horrible, it really is. And Trey, I guess, he was going to come on because his wife, she was big into Harry Potter. So Harry Potter, and it's just one of many tools that they use in Hollywood to indoctrinate kids. But Harry Potter is perhaps the biggest tool out there for witchcraft. And it's the same thing, witchcraft, Satanism, it's all evil, right? Because people say, well, witches ain't Satanism. Yeah, not generally, but it's from the same root of evil. Witchcraft is from Satan. Wicca is from Satan. Paganism is from Satan. Atheism is from Satan. So regardless what you might think or believe, okay, yeah, it's of Satan, plain and simple. If it's not of God, it is of Satan, regardless what you believe the case. So I don't mean to come off all cocky and like that, because it's just like, it really, again, it irks me to no end that people would just sit there and just like justify things. Hang on a second. Let me just pull this up here. Got some other Bible verses I want to throw out too. And we're going to get into some cult doctrines and all that too to show you what's going on. But let's get to these slides here too. So this is what it's all about, guys. This is exactly what it's all about. And indoctrinating children. Instead of them drawing, crosses or just like, nice little things, they're drawing pentagrams now. Talking demons, playing with toys that use divination. So Harry Potter, like I was saying, Trey's wife there, I should say, she was big into Harry Potter. She wanted to come on and like really talk about the whole aspect of Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter dominates not only the movie world, but also it's one of the biggest selling books of all time. They got several books and several movies on Harry Potter, right? And what's her name? The creator of Harry Potter, she was an actual practicing witch. And they literally use, and people say, oh, it's just a movie, it's a kid's thing, whatever. I've sucked it up to watch one of these movies. And I've seen some of the toys. My niece had some of these toys, and they got these wands for different spells and everything. They come with real spell books. And when I was dabbling into witchcraft many years ago, some of these spells are real. In the kid's book. That's supposed to be just toys. And the wands, right? And it's amazing in a bad way, but the wands are full detail. They're not just cheap little plastic things. These are fully engraved. And I was looking at the wand. I was mesmerized by it. These are carved wands, well done. And they come in a felt box, a fancy little box. And these wands, right, these Harry Potter wands, they have symbols carved into it. And it's all esoteric symbolism in there. Yeah. Oh, it's just a kid's thing. Oh, don't worry about it. It's innocent. Yeah, you think so? Anybody that knows anything about the occult knows damn well there's nothing innocent about it. So, of course, it's Hollywood. And again, the parents don't take it serious because they think it's on Disney or Nickelodeon or whatever. It's a kid's thing. It's nothing to be alarmed about. Well, that's exactly what they got you, because they want you to think it's innocent. They want you to think it's just a kid's thing and all that stuff. And they literally sit there and indoctrinate kids with sexualization and cult indoctrination, not just witchcraft, Satanism, all kinds of forms of magic and everything else. It is utterly sickening. We got tons of slides to show you and things to talk about too. So, and again, we want to get into detail about Harry Potter, but we'll save that for another show because she knows a lot more about Harry Potter than I did. Because I never got into it. I mean, I sucked it up to watch one of the movies, and I watched like a bits and pieces, a couple other ones, but I couldn't stomach. I couldn't. Just a spiritual intellect inside me was like, yeah, this is garbage. But I should have watched some of them on an education purpose, because what I do is I like to watch some movies, like popular movies, on an education purpose. Not get wrapped up in the emotions of the movie. Sit back and just watch it, and with my spiritual radar on, the Holy Spirit, and sit there and nitpick. Oh yeah, look in the background. Like for example, right? The movie Ghostbusters, right? Part 1, then 2, and I guess I got 3 and 4 now, whatever. But the first Ghostbusters movie, right? I don't know how many times me and my brother sat there and watched it, right? It actually inspired us to become ghost hunters, right? And so all those years of watching it, we knew the movie from word to word, right? So all those years, never seen the stuff that's really in that movie. And so the building that's filmed at, everything about it, right? So when the Lord opened my eyes to this occultism stuff, and then when I did dabble into the occult too, I learned some of the symbolism and things like that. Then the Lord got me out of there, thank God, and He started teaching me more. So when I watched Ghostbusters Part 1, it was like watching it for the first time. Mind you, I watched it probably 1,000 times, knew it for word. I could sit there and recite word for word and close my eyes and see every scene that's going on. That's how pathetic that was, right? So it's like the Harry Potter movie. A lot of people do the same thing. So and so anyway, when I got my eyes open to the stuff, I watched Ghostbusters. It's been years at that time since I watched Ghostbusters. I watched it, right, Part 1. For the first time, I seen what that movie was about. I seen the symbolism that was right in my face all these years I'd never seen. I seen the cultic messages were behind it. The building was filmed at the Nicholas Roerich building, the Master Building. Nicholas Roerich was he was a Russian mystic. He was President FDR's spiritual advisor. I didn't know any of that. Man, you just see this tall skyscraper, pyramid-like building in the movie. You don't think none of that stuff. So that being said, like that's an example I'm trying to say. People see this all the time. They see this day and night. It's right in their faces. They don't even see what it really is because they don't have their eyes open. You could watch that movie a million times, or a TV show, or you drive down the road, you see this weird looking building, whatever, or something going on. To you, it's just like, oh yeah, it's just a building or whatever, but when you get your eyes open spiritually, it's a whole new thing. Seeing it for the first time. So that's why a lot of parents don't understand this stuff. That's why they let the stuff slide, thinking it's an innocent kid's show or a book, whatever, and without even realizing, they are putting real cultism into the books, into the movies, and they're enchanting real incantations. Now, what an incantation is, it's a repetitive thing. That's why in Matthew, Jesus says, do not use vain and repetition prayer. Like the Catholics do with the rosary. You're not supposed to do that because first of all, God's not going to hear you first before somebody just saying it once. You know what I mean? You don't need to say it more than once. But incantation is something that's recited over and over again. That's why when a witch casts a spell, it's recited over and over and over and over again until it becomes an incantation, to invoke these powers and all that stuff. And it's taskly. It really is. Because I remember studying it and trying to do these spells. It is it's a task. It really is. It's not just reciting it once. You got to do it over and over again, and you got to invoke these spiritual powers. And not all the time it's even guaranteed to work. You know what I mean? So even their own books say that. But anyway, in these books and all that stuff, they have real spells in these books. Of course, they're fictitious stories with fictitious characters, right? But real spells. You know what I mean? Look at the wand right there. Like I was saying, my niece had most of the wands. And it comes with the book, right? Spell books. Tells you how to wave it, what to recite. And again, most people won't even take it serious because they think, oh, it's just a kid's thing. It's perfectly innocent. You're overreacting, Dan. Yeah, because playing with even though you're probably 99% you're not going to cast any spells, because doing that's normal, right? Doing that is okay for kids. No, it's not at all. You know what I mean? It's sickening. So Harry Potter and spells that want to know. So they were saying that these are spells you need to know, and people get so deep into the stuff. Spell and charm game, matching game, and they teach you real witchcraft doing this stuff. And people don't understand that when these kids are playing these games and all that. This is real witchcraft being used in the fictitious world of fictitious characters, but real teachings of witchcraft being inserted into that, so kids are learning real witchcraft. And that's the problem. And you got to match the spells to the charms. That's what they did in witchcraft. I remember that. And what is a charm? It's like a pen, like a piece of crystal or whatever the case. A charm is many different things. A talisman too. You know what I mean? The symbols and all that. So the wands and all that, then the spells, right? You got to match these things together. So when you have a spell In witchcraft, right, you have to have certain charms with it. Incense, whatever the case, that goes along with that spell. So you got to learn how to put those elements together to invoke these elemental spirits and all that stuff, right? So they're teaching kids this real magic. This is dark as it comes. And by the way, I just want to let people know out there, if you think, well, it's only white magic, there's no such thing as white magic. Let me tell you a secret on that. There is no such thing as white magic. I don't care how long you've been in Wicca or in the craft, there is no such thing as white magic. Right-handed magic, they call it, right? It's all it is an indoctrination tool to the left side, to the dark side. That's all it is. It's to indoctrinate good people into the occult. That's all it is. And no, you're not fighting for God, because that's what lower rank witches get told. White witches, whatever. Oh, we're doing things for God. You're not doing nothing for God. You're actually pissing God off. And I'm being blunt. You know what I mean? You're actually pissing God off, because God says have nothing to do with this. We can get into the verse in a minute, yeah? Actually, let's get into it right now, before we get deeper into the stuff. So, in Deuteronomy 18, 10 and 13 says, right? There shall not be found among you anyone that makes a son and daughter pass through the fire. That's child sacrifice, which we're going to relate to, we're going to talk about in a little while. And yes, child sacrifice goes on every day. Or it's called abortion, right? And all that uses divination. Now, what's divination, right? Divination is anything form of trying to communicate with the dead, try to communicate with different spirits, try to do anything magic, plain and simple. Fortune telling, reading people's fortunes, whatever the case. It is divination, plain and simple. Or observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consultant with familiar spirits, or wizard, or a necromancer. And for all these do these things are an abomination to the Lord, and because of these abominations, the Lord God will drive them out before thee. And you're supposed to be perfect with the Lord thy God. Now you got organizations out there who, in Salem, Massachusetts, they call themselves, it's so retarded, Christian witches. Christian witches. How do you do that? Because I go put the title of Christian on me, so it's good now? No, it doesn't work that way. It's like an asinine, oxymoron statement to say you're a witch and Christian at the same time, or you're a pagan Christian, or you're a New Age Christian. That is complete asinine, as it comes. Oxymoron as it comes. So, yeah, that's what they disguise themselves. Oh, no, we're not bad people. We do good things. And no, you don't do good things. You think you do, but you don't. You may have a good heart and intentions, to say, but you're not doing good things. And it's just a indoctrination tool to lure you over to the left path, the dark side, if you want to put it that way. And not to sound like Star Wars, but that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? And so, back to Harry Potter stuff, and this is what they're teaching kids. And look at the wands there. And Sarah there, Trey's wife, she was going to explain a lot of this stuff here in detail. But the wands, right, they're covered in symbolism. Real esoteric symbolism. And we'll get to that in a minute. Disney and all that. So I'm going to do another show on Harry Potter altogether, because there's a lot of information that I don't know about. And again, I've never read the novels. And I don't care to read the novels. And I know the basics of them because my nieces read a lot of them. She said, yeah, they really do indoctrinate into witchcraft. It makes you want to join witchcraft. And that's the point. That's the point. And again, this is all to do with Satanism too. So why they do this for? Because it makes kids enticed into the occult. They're like, oh, it'd be cool to become a vampire. It'd be cool to become a werewolf. It'd be cool to become a witch or a warlock, to have powers and all that. And it'd be cool to have become a Satanist and have a little demon buddy. And that's what the cartoons are showing. We got tons of slides on this stuff, man. It's crazy. That's what's going on. And I just want to welcome everybody in the chat here. And again, we got Rumble questions and answers. So what's up, Harold? Thank you for moderating the chat and putting those awesome Bible verses up. And I don't see any of my other moderators. And what's up, Brother Bill? I think I should make Bill a moderator. I really do. And what's up, Tactical Billy? And Jacob and Lariva. What's up, sister? I haven't seen you in a while. God bless you. And Lester, what's up? And Diane and whoever else is there. Thank you guys for joining the live chat. And by the way, if you're watching on Rumble later, this will be posted after the question and answers. So I usually do live on Rumble and YouTube at the same time, but the way Rumble is, you can't upload multiple things at once. So Anyway, back to the show here. So the Bible is very serious about this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And we need to take it serious. And because the churches today, they don't take stuff serious. And you get told, which is ridiculous. And the Bible's full of metaphors and just examples and not to be taken serious. What? I don't know who told you that. But yeah, the Bible is literal. And yeah, there's metaphors that Jesus does use. Like when Jesus, he'll say something serious. Then he'll follow it up with 2 or 3 parables, which is an examples. You know what I mean? It's paraphrasing of what he's trying. So basically to further explain the subject he's talking about. So that's why, yeah, the parables might be of some fictitious thing he's talking about, but he's making an example to give further explanation to that verse he told you about that's serious and literal, so you could not possibly misunderstand it. So if I was to tell you something and I gave you 3 or 4 examples of what I was trying to say, yeah, there's no interpreting because it's clear as day, right? But people don't see it that way. They just don't know the Bible. You know what I mean? And it's horrible. A lot of Christians are the same way. They take a verse out of context, like when you get to the commandments. They'll say, oh, Paul said the commandments are abolished or the laws, we don't have to follow the laws. They'll show a verse out of context. I'm like, did you bother reading the next verse or the verse after? Where Jesus says, Paul said, do we abolish the laws? God forbid. No. They don't read that part, though. You know what I mean? That's just an example. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, that's the problem with parents today in the churches. And the thing is, the churches, they should be on the front lines of this stuff. They should be telling the parents every Sunday, which I believe they should be Saturday, but regardless. They should be telling the parents every Sunday, say, listen, you need to guard your kids, pray over your kids. You need to watch what they're watching. Don't let them watch Harry Potter. Don't let them watch any witchcraft crap. Disney's full of the stuff and everything else. What the books they read, you need to examine them. All that they should be on top of the parents. On top of the parents to tell them to go into school and exempt them from evolution classes. And that's another thing we got to talk about one day. Evolution is very destructive to the faith. And kids that go on to learn evolution, a lot of them end up turning away from the faith because of that. Because the churches, they should be on top of that, and the parents. Telling the parents what not to do. To give them say, hey, listen, this is a suggestion. Don't let your kids do this. Because, and here's why, So that's why kids are dabbling into witchcraft these days. And there's a lot of movies that promote that. And now they have the after-school Satan clubs. We're going to get into a little bit. But I just want to get through some of these slides here. So, yeah, there's a lot of these TV shows and movies and everything else we're going to get to. Now, this one is a very popular one. It was a series, I think, went on for several seasons. It's called The Wizards of Waverly Place. Now they got the Witches of Waverly Place, too. And they end up, it was started off as the Witches of Waverly Place. So when the season ran dry, a few seasons, they switched it to the Wizards. So it's a bunch of kids practicing witchcraft and dabbling into the dark arts. Then you have Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, right? Very popular cartoon. Using wands and spells, same thing here in the Witches and Wizards of Waverly Place, right? Indoctrinating the kids to make it look so cool to be in witchcraft. Look, Sabrina is, so it must be cool. We got to fight the bad witches and everything else, right? And every witch a day, I think it's from Nickelodeon. So it's not just Disney, it's Nickelodeon. It's all major networks. And here, the new series here, The Worst Witch. I think this one was about a girl who's trying to become a witch. She's not good at it. And she's working to become a better witch. Pouring spells to try to perfect her spell making. Right? And this is what the kids are watching. Twitches, Bewitched Edition. Twitches mean, twin witches. 2 sisters growing up into witchcraft. Disney show. I think this is a movie, actually. But look at this, the Little Mermaid, right? What does she do? She signs a deal with the devil, literally. So, I don't know if you all watched The Little Mermaid. I remember watching when I was a kid. The Little Mermaid, she falls in love with this human. And so she wants to be human. And so this witch comes to her, the sea witch they call her, right? She says, I'll if you sign your voice over to me, right? Because she's got a nice voice singing. Because, how sirens are. Sirens, mermaids, they have this beautiful voice that, in real life I'm talking about, they have this beautiful voice that enchants men. They're like mesmerized by their voice, and what they do is they seduce them and kill them. That's what these sirens do. And, Yeah. So anyway, in the fictitious world, in the Disney world, she falls in love with this guy, a prince, right? And she wants to marry him. So the witch takes her voice and gives her human legs. And she signs a pact with the devil, literally. You know what I mean? Then her father, Titan, whatever his name is, Trident, saves the day or whatever the case. But yeah, it's occultism, right? Then you got the stupid, idiotic, dumb, I'll just shut up. Movie, right? Hocus Pocus. And Hocus Pocus Part 2 was literally filmed here in the state of Rhode Island, I think it was a couple years ago, and also in Salem, Massachusetts to make Part 2. So it's about 3 goofy, idiot women who run around. They want kids. Okay, it's all to do with kids too. And that also, by the way, I didn't put that in here, but remember the story about Hansel and Gretel? We all grew up listening to the story, right? Hansel and Gretel. And it's a witch that keeps feeding them all kinds of food to fatten them up because she wants to eat them. She wants to sacrifice the kids, right? Well, a lot of stuff in this movie is so stupid, it really is. But regardless, it's about 3 witches, and they have this factory with kids and all that stuff, right? Both movies. Then this one here, and by the way, this movie inspires people to join witchcraft, right? And I think out of all the movies right here, right, to reach the teenage crowd, this movie right here, they have The Craft in Part 2 as well. They have 2 movies of this. The Craft, and I forgot the second one's same thing, some of the same characters. But this movie right here, and a lot of girls I know were inspired by this. So this movie right here is about 4 teenagers in high school, right? So they're not too popular with the people in the school. So what they do is they weren't really necessarily nerds, but they weren't popular with the crowd. You know what I mean? They weren't in with the in crowd or anything. So they're kind of outcasts. So they decided to pick up some witchcraft books and start studying witchcraft, right? And so they all get into a coven, a pack, to study witchcraft, right? And they're studying, and they're growing more powerful. They start learning spells and all this stuff and magic, and they're getting powerful. So this lunatic girl here, she becomes the evil witch. And she becomes so powerful, right? She kills people, whatever the case, and these 3 other girls that were her friends, they have to use magic, all 3 of them, against her. So, and this movie literally launched many teenage women to join witchcraft. They thought it was the coolest thing to levitate people, and they had the books and everything else and all that stuff. So some girls I know got into this stuff too because of this movie, inspired off this movie. So this movie and the Harry Potter thing is, I would have to say Harry Potter #1 and this #2 for the most inspirational movies and to indoctrinate people into witchcraft. And again, it says Satanism here. We understand Satan. Witchcraft is of Satan. So regardless of what you think it is. Plain and simple. So the little witch here, and we got to do a story on these stories here because this goes far, it really does. If you really look into these movies, man, the amount of people that they indoctrinated into the occult. And people were enticed with black magic because here's how it works, right? And this is what I was told too. When you get to you start learning these cool little, so-called innocent white magic spells, right? So there's an old saying, right? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? So that's the same thing how it works in the occult. So what they'll do is because years ago witchcraft was heavily outlawed. Satanism, all forms of the occult. You get arrested. Plain and simple. Because historically, they harm children. Historically, they harm people and society. That's why it's been, they had to go underground. That's why it was been persecuted, and for a rightful reason. Because they did kill people. They did spiritual and physical harm to people, mainly children. So to rebrand witchcraft and magic and all that stuff, they had to come up with a later version of it. Like Wicca, right? For example, right? Gerald Gardner. And Mr. Alexander, right? He was a student of Gerald Gardner. He ended up splitting off on his own to create Alexandrian Wicca. But Gerald Gardner, the creator of Wicca, right? He established witchcraft on a low-level basis because over in England, you'd be probably stoned to death if you were caught being a witch. Here in America too, and rightfully so. So and so he created this version of Wicca, right? These low degrees. White witches were doing good things, and all it is a public perception to conceal the dark magic that goes on. So basically, you got these good people they're the good-hearted people. They get into this stuff because they think they're doing good for society and doing good for God. They don't know any better. And they get told, oh, you're doing such a great job for, nature and everything else. It's all about nature. So when people start developing these powers and all that, they'll have their instructor say, you could do a little more. Well, what do you mean? It's like, you like that magic? She goes, oh, yeah, I love it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you could, there is ways to get more. Slowly indoctrinate you and try to pull you over to the left path. You know what I mean? And they'll say, well, and then they start using these powers and getting all these like powers and magic and stuff. Then they'll be like, yeah, it's like, it's like, it would be kind of cool to do this and that. Then the head instructor, says he's a white witch or she's a white witch, whatever. And they'll start saying, well, there is ways to do it, but you're going to have to lean over a little bit into the dark side. And again, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, right? Then all of a sudden you got this good-hearted person. All of a sudden they're swaying over to the dark side because you get enticed by the powers. And there's things that happen, right? But at the same time, Satan's using these people because all these witches that end up going all the way end up really paying for it. Because after Satan gets done using you, he's like a sponge, right? Squeezes every drop out of you, he throws you away. Same thing in this, yeah, right? So that's how it works in witchcraft. So that's how it works in Satanism. And that's why you see these Hollywood elite. Like, look at Britney Spears, what she's been going through the last decade. Because her indoctrination in the occult, they're done with her. She's old news now. Every Hollywood person that's old news, they're 15 minutes of fame or over, they end up getting physically sick. They get spiritually attacked because Satan doesn't want them no more. Then you're no good to them no more. And these people in the music business that sell their souls for rock and roll, whatever the case, they, when he's done using you, because he'll put you on the highest stage, right, in the world to magnify his glory, right? And see, look how cool it is to be in the occult and all that stuff, right? So when you're done, your 15 minutes of fame are over, you're on your way down, yeah, he's done. So you're no longer getting all that fame, fortune, and all that stuff. All that stuff's gone. And you start getting physically sick, and they start attacking you until you're dead because they just want you dead. You know what I mean? And get out of the way for the next person, right? So that's how it is. And the thing is, they indoctrinate kids with the stuff and teenagers, movies, music, all that stuff. And it's some more slides here of different shows. The Little Witch and the Mini Witch. And you would not believe how many movies and TV shows and all that have witch, warlock, Satanist, whatever the case. It's unreal. And you got the Witches of Eastwick. I forgot what network that's from. Remember growing up, we had that show Bewitch. It was that witch there. She was a pretty woman, right? She used to twinkle her nose like that, and something would happen. That her mother was like kind of, she was like, almost on that evil side, you know what I mean? She couldn't stand her husband. The husband wasn't a witch, whatever. And it was a sitcom. It was like it lasted for several seasons, but it was a popular one, right? But her, Sabrina, I think, was a young girl, whatever. But, her daughter had powers too. So her daughter would grab her nose like this to make something happen, but the whole family on her side was all witches, right? Real witches and all that. So that was the show Bewitched, and I'm sure a lot of guys remember that growing up. But that's what made the stuff popular. You know what I mean? They use pretty girls and stuff like that, and to really lure the guys and all that. So York Witches Society, and I think I'd never seen this. There's a lot of these things I didn't see, but what they're about, And you got the witches, and look in the background there, this dark evil figure. It's always associated with this pretty so-called white witch. Look at the Wizard of Oz, for example, right? Perfect example, right? You got the so-called good witch that helps people, flies around, all of a sudden this wicked, cruel witch, like, I want your doggy too. She looks like our old governor, Gina Raimondo. But so there's always the good witch and the bad witch. Light side, dark side. Same thing with Star Wars, right? You have the Jedis who are called the white light of the Force. Then the dark side of the Force was Darth Vader and the Emperor and all that. It's the same stuff. It's the same scenario peddled to Hollywood, right? There's a right and left-handed path. And the worst witch here, things never go right for this Mildred here. Like I said earlier, she's trying to study to be a witch, and she keeps messing up. And what's this called? The Witches. There's another show here. And that's what I was talking about, The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, she looks like our old governor. Not even joking. It's funny, too. Yeah, old Governor Gina Raimondo. Let me show you a picture of her. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, she's Secretary of Agriculture for Biden now. Well, that's her right there. That's our old governor of the state of Rhode Island, Gina Raimondo. That's her right there. See? Can't make this stuff up. Yeah. And my friend Bill William, in the chat room there. Probably getting a kick out of that. So, anyway, so, The Wizard of Oz is, again, about witchcraft, helping kids, you know what I mean? I'm helping she's a kid. She's like a young teenager. To help her get home, help people, get to the wizard. There's a wizard and a witch, and that's what it's all about. It's all about divination. Good and bad, white and black, right? Then you got mostly ghostly, R.L. Stein's books. R.L. Stein wrote a lot of books about, witches and whatnot, too. Cool little stories and all that, but yeah, they indoctrinate kids into witchcraft. Then this one here really shocked me. I forgot the video. I had a video of the movie because it was on our TV. And I'm like, what the heck are you watching? And it's just called Elemental, right? Now, pay attention to this, right? Let me pull this up, too, while you're looking at this because I should have pulled this up earlier. So in witchcraft, right, it's they go by elements. It's called elemental spirits, which is Stoshan spirits. They utilize Stoshan spirits. So if you can see the fire and earth and water and all that, right, it's called elemental. So basically in here, the fire elemental falls in love with the water elemental. And they try to make it work, but they burn or, wet each other. It's weird, right? It's a weird movie. But they use elemental spirits, and they literally have elemental magic in the movie. And again, people don't know too much about witchcraft and or the occult in general, so they don't realize that. So the kids see this, and they have no clue. And when I come home, I was like, this was on the TV, and I'm like, hon, what are you watching? She goes, some Pixar film. And it's like, and I'm watching it. I'm like, what the heck? And she has no clue about this stuff, you know what I mean? So, and I'm like, this is where I found out, and I wish I still had the pictures. It was my old phone. But I took screenshots. They were saying certain things in the movie and, inducing elemental magic. And thank you for the donation out there, guys. I really appreciate it, guys. It helps the ministry here. So, it's crazy, man. And it really is. And this movie is, it's got all this elemental magic going on. And let me get some more on this elemental stuff here. So it comes from, earth, water, air, fire. And also, if you ever seen that show, that's another one too. Captain Planet. Remember that movie? Cartoon, I mean. It's about saving the planet using, this is what Wiccans do too. And forms of witchcraft, whatever. They utilize the earth spirits called Stoshan spirits. And which the Bible strictly warns us about, right? So let me see, Captain Planet, right? Characters, right? Same thing. It was 5 teenagers, right? They had each a ring that had a certain power, right? Power of wind, fire, water, earth, and whatever else, right? And what they would do is they had powers to do these things with, those Stoshan powers. So when they needed to fight an enemy, they would put their rings together to form a spirit called Captain Planet. Now, all the elemental powers combined made Captain Planet. See how satanic this is? Such an innocent guy. I mean, I remember watching this. My parents didn't know any better. Yeah, I mean, you thought it was a cool cartoon, you know what I mean? Because they're saving the earth and stopping pollution and all that stuff. And that's where they get you. Completely indoctrinating you into the occult. You know what I mean? It's crazy. the kids are playing with elemental magic. And you could study, watch out. I don't suggest anybody study anything with witchcraft, but yeah, they derive off the elemental spirits. Which again, we did a show on this one called Stoshan Spirits. And David Carrico has done a lot of shows on these too. But yeah, they use the spirit, water, fire, earth, and wind. And it's not the coincidence, the same things they use in the cartoon Captain Planet. And the same exact ones here in this movie Elemental. But it's Disney, don't worry, it's innocent. Not. So we move to this one, the Satanic Temple. It's by Lucius Greaves. He created this sick, disgusting place in Salem, Massachusetts, not too far from here. And it's called the Satanic Temple, after school Satan club, right? To indoctrinate kids into the cult. And then, here's the thing with this place, right? They, let me get to this here. Where are they? So they started this thing called the Satanic After School Program, right? In which in several states they have actually accomplished to do this. To create an after-school program to learn about Satan. Mind you, right? The same school that says, you shouldn't be teaching the Bible and religion in school, right? But yet the Satanic Temple was allowed to do this. Now, when people say, you can't do that, they cry religious rights. Because the founder, Lucius Greaves, he says it's our religious right to First Amendment to do this. Well, no, it's not. Because the First Amendment was based off literally Christianity. It was to protect Christianity. That's what it was about. Freedom of religion, not from religion. And back then, and for hundreds of years in this country, if you got caught being a witch or a Satanist, you'd be arrested real quick. It was heavily outlawed in this country. So no, you do not have a First Amendment right to be a Satanist. It's freedom of religion. This is not a religion. So he calls himself they call this a religion. It's not a religion. It's a cult. Plain and simple. And here's the oxymoron to with these people too. It's, let me get to their website. Yeah, that's a website here. The Satanic Temple. After School Satan Club is an after-school program that promotes self-directed education by supporting the intellectual and creative interests of students. Now, here's right here, right? Satanic Temple. You know what the oxymoron thing is? That they say, we don't believe in Satan. But they use satanic symbolism, satanic gestures, satanic everything. Call themselves Satanists, but you don't believe in Satan? That's stupid. We all believe more in science. It makes no sense, right? Yeah. So they're saying we're not pushing worshiping Satan to kids. They're saying that After School Satan Club does not believe in introducing religion into public schools and will open a club. Other religious groups are operating on campus. So they're saying we don't believe in introducing religion into public schools, right? That's what they say, right? But yet, they use that very same clause to win court cases. See hypocrisy with these people? They'll say, it's our religious right. Hold on, I thought you said religion don't belong in public schools, right? But yet, you call yourself a religion and you want to be in public schools. That's called an oxymoron. Plain and simple. That's called hypocritical. So basically, they want to teach kids to be godless. Do what you want. So this has grown in popularity. It really is. And unfortunately. So this is called the Satanic Temple. The Age of Reason, Children's Rights in the Case Against Indoctrination Influences. So the Satanic Temple says, it has been said, the truth will make men free, right? That's a quote from the Bible, right? The truth will set you free. So they quote the Bible here, out of context though. The truth alone has never set anyone free. So hold on. This is stupid. So they're saying the Satanic Temple, right, about kids. It has been said that the truth will make men free, right? Will set you free. The truth alone has never set anyone free. It is only doubt which will bring mental emancipation without the wonderful element of doubt. The doorway through which truth passes would be tightly shut, impervious to most strenuous poundings of thousands of poundings of 1,000 Lucifers. So they're teaching kids it's okay to doubt. Don't be positive, just doubt things. And they're saying, oh, the truth doesn't set you free. The truth alone has never... what are you, crazy? The truth does set you free. And anybody with the spirit of truth in them knows that. These people do not have the spirit of truth in them. And this is the stupid church of Satan. You know, it's... by the way, this is the Church of Satan, and also there's a Satanic Temple. Two different things. This Church of Satan was created by Anton LaVey in 1966. He's dead now. But they still operate. And I forgot where they're from. And the Satanic Temple was started in, I think, 1913. 2013, something like that, right? And so by this guy, Lucius Greaves. So in that video I showed you at the beginning, I'll play that in a little bit. But that was funny. It wasn't funny, but in some ways. But he wanted to do a black satanic mass at Harvard University. Now, Harvard, historically, Harvard is a Bible school. Harvard University was started off as a Bible academy. It was a public school, yes. It was a public college, right? But it taught the Bible. And the first 120, I believe, the first 120 colleges in the country that were established here, college, university, right? It was promoted, and so they taught off a Christian Judeo doctrine. They taught the Bible. They taught morals from the Bible. They taught things of God. And of course, they taught education, like the sciences and math and all that stuff and all that. But it was strict. That's why Harvard University, they had a Bible as a logo on the shield. And like all these other universities, but of course, over the years, that's all gone now. So they wanted to put the Satanic Temple here, Satanic Mass at Harvard University. Actually, let me play that for you. So this is like 11 minutes because I need a break anyway. So this here is 11 minutes, but you got to see some lunatics, okay? And so basically, where is this? So I think it was 2014, right? So as it says here, InfoWars reported Dan Bidondi traveled to Harvard University to the site of an ill-fated satanic black mass set to take place on campus, and Christians went on the offensive and protest the event, which eventually canceled. So, yeah, it's crazy. So I went out there to ask questions to these people. There was a bunch of churches there protesting against it, which was great. And it was a bunch of Satanists there too. But yeah, I'll play some of it here, and I'll put the link in the chat room. Does it scare you or... And the point I'm playing this for, guys, is to show you what their agenda is about. Because when you hear the Satanists here, all right, he tells you exactly what it's about. It's about the kids.
But I think something more important than me is going on. It seems like those friendly Christians are not being so friendly. So
you want to be loud? You want to be loud? On this day of victory, Christian blood will soak these battlefields.
the trumpet of Michael cannot silence the truth. The trumpet of Michael will not silence the truth. The trumpet of Michael can never silence the truth. We have your children. Your children. You go to 9 to 5, you spend no time.
Dan Bidondi for the InfoWars Nightly News. Now I'm at Harvard University, where a black satanic mass is supposed to take place later tonight. Protesters have gathered here to demand Harvard not to have the satanic mass. So are you all here protesting?
I'm here to pray today. The first report was they moved the black mass off of campus, and it was going to go to a restaurant in Central Square, and now we're receiving a report from the New England Cable News that it's been canceled altogether. So we're absolutely delighted. Apparently, protests do have an effect even on Harvard.
Harvard University was actually started as a Bible school, a place to train up people to be radical for Christ.
This is a great abomination before God. I heard about the satanic ritual about a week ago, and I've been following the events and decided to come down here and pray.
And where are you from?
Hopkinton, Massachusetts.
We're not going to sit down and let people take what is most sacred to us and trample it underfoot. Just talking about some free expression or right to assemble or whatever is really just a subterfuge. They have speech codes at Harvard like everywhere else. And if they can't recognize this as the same kind of hate speech that they routinely shut down when it is from groups of a traditionalist bent, then they really have no business talking about hate speech as a principle at all.
It's our job to come out and speak the truth calmly and do something for God when he's being attacked.
It makes me afraid, not for myself personally, but for society, for children, for these poor people that come to these things that are curious, because this stuff's dangerous. This is real. It's dangerous.
I am here to witness the Black Mass, yes.
Okay, now, would you want to take part of it, or are you protesting?
I would have taken part in the Black Mass. Why not? I've taken part in their Mass. Why not the Black Mass?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm a girl.
I said ma'am.
I'm good. That other guy just called me that, so I was confused.
I think it's a violation of their rights. If they wanted to hold a satanic ritual, again, as I said, as long as it's not hurting anyone, as long as no one's harmed during it, there should be no reason why it needs to be canceled.
I would have never stopped it.
As far as I can tell, there's no good reason to cancel the event. There's no violent crowds out here. Everyone seems to be peacefully minding their own business.
They're doing crack! They're doing all drugs! They're doing all sex! Oh, Jesus was a man! Not a deity! He was a man who figured out the eye! Read your book, because it's all in your book! It's in your book! If thine eye be single, you shall see a straight light!
We're anti-pro-Satan. We are anti-Satan and anti-pro-God. So, pro-God.
Men were yelling at each other, so I'm saying maybe not men yelling would be a third thing as opposed to God versus Satan.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, totally.
Still, I just find it kind of funny how the Christians won't allow anyone to have a satanic black mass, but they can have their own mass and no one protests it and it's fine. It's okay. Like they're saying they're right. And the way they think is the only way to think. And if you think on the opposite side in Satanism, you're wrong and stupid.
Well, the reason I'm here is to make sure that the actual message of the so-called adversary, Satan means enemy. I don't know if everyone knows that. But the so-called adversary is not actually what Satan's about. Satan's about love, kindness, acceptance, liberty, truth. Those are just 5 of the bullet points, the 5 points of the pentagram. See.
Yeah, right.
My God is Bast, the Egyptian god of war, and I just yesterday invited Jesus into my heart, which is a female Jesus, more scantily clad than a regular Jesus.
Lucian Greaves is not even his name. His real name is Doug Mesner. He is a fake to the extreme. Anybody that reads his page knows this. He has admitted he's not a Satanist. He doesn't believe in Satan. He's not spiritual on any level, and yet he claims he's doing positive things for the satanic community.
Satan with the goat head, a pentagram in the background surrounded by adoring children. It is hilarious and scary, and also part of an elaborate trolling enterprise by an organization called the Satanic Temple, which has emerged as a weird, bizarro world religious freedom gadfly.
Everything he's doing is a publicity stunt for a movie he's making called the Satanic Temple.
So what he's trying to do is piss people off, so to speak?
Oh, yes, and he is succeeding, especially within the ranks of the satanic community. We all despise him.
Okay, are you a Satanist yourself?
Yes, I am.
And so basically what you're saying, he's not a real Satanist?
He's not a Satanist on any level. He's admitted to, for example.
The statue in Oklahoma and the Black Mass at Harvard, I feel, were completely separate, and I was a little disappointed at all the press we got for the Black Mass because I feel it overshadows the more important issue of the monument.
And he's working the statue they want to put up in Oklahoma, and here's the real kick in the head. The person whose name is on the papers that is actually enabling him to do this is the wife of a convicted sex offender.
The Satanic Church is in the back of Adam and Kelsey Daniels' home.
Kelsey is the one who submitted the application to have the satanic monument erected at the state capitol next to the one of the Ten Commandments.
Adam Daniels in 2009 was convicted of sexual battery on a person over the age of 16.
You know what? Satan is here, and he ain't going anywhere. We have your children. We have everyone that we need to defeat you, because in the last war, there was 1/3, and we almost won. Michael, Anu, I don't care what you go by now, we will defeat you.
Now, does it scare you or infuriate you that stuff is now going on in the public?
It actually infuriates me, but it also strengthens my faith and makes me want to become a militant for my church and come out and stand up for the truth and what's good and right.
I think it shocks and disappoints me more than anything else.
Now, Homeland Security, now our own government is now classifying the average Christian now as a domestic terrorist. Now, how does that make you feel that our government is now targeting us?
I do know that I've seen a lot of Democrat political figures talking about Christians as terrorists.
Well, I guess it makes me know that the people in my government are no longer representing me, and that I have to continue to know my faith and believe in my faith and trust in God that in the end He will prevail.
I expect that saying what the Bible teaches eventually is going to be illegal, and so be it. We have to keep saying it.
We live in dangerous times.
I think it's horrible. I mean, what else is there to say? All sorts of organizations, disreputable organizations that have their own agendas, like the Southern Poverty Law Center and groups like that, demonize Christians who want to publicly profess their faith like we are, and who oppose all sorts of abominations against marriage, abortion.
And that's considered to them hate speech.
Yeah, it's considered hate speech. But of course they engage in their own hate speech by vilifying us, and there's a nice double standard that they have for themselves.
The protesters that say otherwise, unfortunately, they're just believing what they're told. I mean, not everyone has a genius IQ like me and Kanye West, so it's really hard for everyone else to figure it out. But I figured it out. I could tell you.
We were physically pushed out of there before we put a hand on anyone.
He didn't touch nobody. These are violent gatherings. We got thrown out of a public space. We were physically shoved, torn, pushed, and we didn't touch anybody. He never did.
You? I bet y'all wanted a blowjob, didn't you?
So right here at the church behind us, the gentlemen who were leading this event tonight actually came in to the pulpit. I was kind of walking away and headed back to the parking garage. They came into to this church right here, went behind the pulpit, pushed people out from behind the pulpit, and started screaming aggressively, "Hail Satan," etc. Just basically trying to worship Satan in this house of God right here. So I did go in and just kind of told them they needed to leave, and at that point, several gentlemen from the church behind us did escort them out. They did not go willingly. They're actually violent in the process, and they were screaming and trespassing until the police actually came about 5 minutes later, and then they changed their whole story. So that's what happened.
And as you can see, it's a great spiritual divide, as we had got comments from people from both sides of the... And yeah, so that was insane. And you can see some of these people from all walks of life there. And I'm a man, that men were yelling at each other. I was laughing. I couldn't help. I mean, I was at the time. I was just holding it in, like I just gotta bite my tongue. Especially when that clown said, "We got your kids" and all that stuff, and glorifying Satan. I just wanted to punch the kid in the face. But being a journalist, I just bite my tongue and just get the stories. You know what I mean? So I couldn't wait to get out of there. Really couldn't. But I'm glad there was a lot of Christians that showed up to approach that and put a stop to that, which Harvard ended up canceling the whole satanic event. So the whole point of the video, the whole point of the thing is because, they're going after kids, college kids. You know what I mean? Again, they go after kids of every level. From, like, when they start walking, watching, like, little so-called instant cartoons, when they all grades, you know what I mean? When you get to junior high, elementary, going to, high school, college, and all that stuff. Yeah, so that's the point of it. And that wacko Satanist with the long hair, he said it right. They got your kids. He's 100% on that. 100% on that. You know what I mean? And so when he said, we own your kids, he's 100% right. Because every walk of life, I mean, like all the slides have been shown and all that stuff. And the After School Satan Club is the same organization, After School Satan Club, that put on that satanic mass, attempted to put on a satanic mass at Harvard. Yeah, and hey kids, let's have fun After School Satan Club. Oh yeah, what a fun that is, huh? Let's learn how to really tick God off. Yeah, good job. And that's the founder, Lucius Greaves, that woman there the woman Satanist, she said this guy's not a real Satanist. Now I want to point out too, there's many levels. I'm not condoning it or making light of it. There's many levels of Satanism. Some don't believe in Satan, which is stupid. Yeah, it's like me calling myself a Christian, but I don't believe in Jesus. How stupid that sounds. Yeah, this idiot here. Yeah, which we know these people do believe in Satan. The people who run like the Church of Satan, yeah, the people who run the church, they believe, because Anton LaVey was a mimic of Aleister Crowley, as me and John Pounders pointed out last week. No, it was me and Trey Harris. I'm sorry, when we did Crowley show last week was the Holy Spirit show. So yeah, and that's what these people are. There's nothing to be offended by. The After School Satan Club. No, there's nothing to be offended by. But he hypocritically said in his post that religion shouldn't be in school, right? That's what he said. But when he was denied certain schools to have his club in, he goes, that violates our religious rights. See what a hypocrite this guy is? These people are dumb. Yeah, they really are. To no end. So that's the agenda right there. That's the statue this has been all over the news. Them putting a statue in city halls and certain places. Mind you, the same places where the 10 Commandments were taken down. 10 Commandments are there for like perhaps hundreds of years. Taken down because it violates church and state, which doesn't. The separation of church and state protects religion. It doesn't abolish it. People misinterpret that all the time. When separation of church and state was established, it was to protect religion. That's the foundation of the First Amendment. In other words, you keep government out of the churches, not church out of the government. Because even to this day, every Senate and congressional meeting, even most states, cities, and municipalities, right, they start their meetings with a prayer to the Lord. They have a minister or a priest, whatever, say a prayer before the meeting, right? So God's been ingrained in this country since day one. Whether people like it or not, or know or not, it's been that way, right? So the 10 Commandments were at almost every state capital across this world. Across this country. And they were there for hundreds of years or whatever years, and until the 1980s and 1990s when atheist groups started having them removed. But it's okay to put this disgusting statue, a Baphomet statue. And there's the agenda right there. This spells it right out. See the little boy and little girl? That just says it right there. They're going after your kids. Plain and simple and plain daylight. They're going after your kids. That's what it's all about. It's about your kids. And let's draw a pentagram. Look at that. Yeah. Let's, teach kids how to do this satanic stuff. Yeah. Unreal, huh? And Satanic presents Goodnight Baphomet. This is a little cartoon they got going on. A little cartoon character of Baphomet. Why not? Because they got the statue there. Yeah, perfectly displaying and indoctrinating kids. And now they come up with this little cartoon. Oh, look at that. So cute. A little Baphomet, I can't read what that says, so I apologize. But yeah, and there's a rainbow one to make it look a little pretty, huh? No, so the real Baphomet, I don't know if you point out in the statue here, the Baphomet came from Eliphas Levi. He was the head of the Knights Templar at the time. In his book, Transcendental Magic, he said he claimed the Baphomet he designed, right, which is different from this. This one is a little bit different from the original Baphomet. And if you notice, it's a men's chest. The original Baphomet has a set of breasts. It's a hermaphrodite. It's an androgynous spirit. So the Baphomet came from Eliphas Levi, and he drew that up out of a deity he studied in the Egyptian deity. And also the little demon talked to, I forgot his name, but it's like, he looks like Yoda from Star Wars. That's where they got that from. It's a legit demon that he communicated with. But yeah, these are ancient deities. Well, false deities, I should say. They're unclean spirits. And of course, they took the set of boobs off him, to make it look somewhat presentable. But the Baphomet statue is disgusting as it comes. And of course, they make light of it. This one has boobs, though. And Anton LaVey, this guy here, like I said, 1966, established the Church of Satan. He was, even though he never claimed he was a student of Aleister Crowley, everything he did was a mimic of Aleister Crowley. That's why he's got a bald head. He loved Aleister Crowley, even though the Church of Satan would deny that. But yeah, you don't just mysteriously have everything in tune with Aleister Crowley and yeah, whatever the case. But he goes, I'm glad that Christian parents let their children worship the devil at least once a night of the year. Talk about Halloween. That was his quote on Halloween. So holidays, I mean, they got the children. And we need, as parents, and we need to take back our children for the Lord. And this here is, this ain't real, but people are drawing us up using AI to have a Baphomet McDonald's Happy Meal. Now, McDonald's does not, and credit to McDonald's, I don't like their food, but credit to them, this is not real. But shows you, yeah. You know, they want a Baphomet with black bun, a Baphomet Happy Meal, and give you little Baphomet statues out. Now, again, this is not real. This is just somebody's AI drawing of it. So this is at Build-A-Bear, right? At Build-A-Bear for your kids, right? The Pumpkin Express, whatever, where this was. But they were having, they had little stuffed animals of Baphomets. See the aprons and all that? They were promoting it that day. You could buy stuffed animals. You could build a bear, a satanic bear at Build-A-Bear. Imagine that in the mall. You go in the mall, your kids, and kids say, I want to build a bear. All right, let's go. And you walk in to see that. Of course, what the parents would do nowadays, right? This is what they would do. They wouldn't frown upon it. They wouldn't be scared by it. What they'll do is like, oh, honey, go stand next to the bears, the cute little bears, and take a picture. That's what they'll do. I was at one of these places, right? In Providence, they had a H.P. Lovecraft festival going on, right? They had these like 100, 200 druids marching through the city of Providence, right? With cloaks on, torches, and all that stuff. And they had a mock sacrifice to Cthulhu, right? And they had these demonic creatures out of the book of the Necronomicon. Demonic creatures there, right? And parents are walking through, and what are they doing? They're like literally, they're having the kids stand next to these demonic creatures, taking pictures. Oh, look how cute that is. And there was a couple parents, like they were little, one girl comes up to me, she goes, what is this about? She goes, I don't feel comfortable with this. Like, yeah, it's like, ma'am, you should get your kids to get out of here because this is satanic. It comes, as it comes, whatever the case. And she took her kids and went. But parents have no clue. Let the kids stand next to these things and take pictures with it. Think it's cute. They'll post, oh, look at this. They had a little thing at Build-A-Bear today. I took a picture of my kids. And the girl's chewing a gum, winding her hair up like that, whatever the case. Yeah, bunch of ditzes. It's like you have any clue. Any clue in the world. And that's just a lack of spiritual education. It really is. People just don't know. They sure do what thou wilt. Aleister Crowley's phrase. The whole of the law is to do what you want, which is not true. And that's a little fancy little Baphomet guy walking through, do what you want. Selling t-shirts. Imagine a kid going to school with that. Pentagram on his head, yeah. Oh, look at this. Some board games got going on, right? Ouija boards. Look at that. Oh, let's go. Let your kids play with a Ouija board. Are you insane? Oh, no, don't worry. It's not real. It's from Parker Brothers or something, yeah. Oh, like my first little Ouija board. How cute is that, huh? Right in the back is like this dead, like demonic spirit in the back, right? And yeah, two little kids innocently playing with a Ouija board. Oh, because that's so innocent. Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. Oh, it's just a kid's game. Don't worry about it. That's what you get told, right? And everybody talked to, because I used to be a ghost hunter, a paranormalist for years. I'm talking about like 20-something years, whatever the case. Me and my brother and some friends and whatever. And almost everybody you ran into that had a haunted house or whatever the case that had problems spiritually, right? A lot of them dabbled in Ouija boards. They said the day I started dabbling in Ouija boards, weird stuff happened and it never stopped. And when your parents out there, if you think this is cute or innocent, when your kids play with this and nothing's going to happen, yeah, you got nothing coming. This stuff will haunt them for the rest of their lives unless they spiritually attacked us. You got countless stories of people saying, oh, when I was young, a kid or a teenager, me and my friends played with the Ouija board and weird things happened. And ever since then, I've been getting attacked at night, things like that, right? Yeah. Oh, don't worry. That's, you should tell them, say, well, those are just those innocent boards. Look at that. One for a little baby right here. A floor mat for the baby. My first little spirit board. Yeah. Innocent, huh? Yeah. Oh, look at this. This can't be evil. Look at this. It's a pretty pink Ouija board. The little kitties there. Look at that. That's so cute, huh? No, how could that be evil? That's what what they would say. And there's all these Ouija boards for kids to play with. Targeting girls, little girls, babies, little boys, young teenagers. Yeah, they got it all. Now they rebranded the Ouija board for Christians. It's like, we got a board to talk to the Holy Spirit. Yeah, if you want to talk to the Holy Spirit, come buy a Holy Spirit board to communicate directly with Jesus Christ. Yeah, because we need a spirit board to do that, right? I'm sorry. Let me go through the Bible for a minute. I don't know anywhere it says that we need to use divination to talk to the Lord, because that's divination. I don't know anywhere it says that we need to use a spirit board known as a Ouija board. Yeah. But I guess, because we could talk to Jesus directly in the Holy Spirit. So I don't know we need to use this, and this is how they indoctrinate stupid Christians. And, I call them stupid, that buy the stuff. Because instead of knowing the Bible, and the pastors be like, oh, that's so awesome. You know what I mean? And they got the sideburns and all this stuff, the pastors. And they'll be like, oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, that's great. You teach the kids how to talk to the Holy Spirit. I think that's a blessing from the Lord. Because they don't know any better either. They think this is cute and all dandy. Oh, yeah, that's so beautiful, huh? Get to talk to the Holy Spirit and Jesus. They don't know any better either. The dumbed down churches. And then, heck, you know what? We'll buy one for the school, the Sunday school for the kids. Let's do that. And Christmas time, we'll give them away at Christmas time under the tree at the church, right? Yeah, they don't know any better. Oh, it's all innocent because it's got Jesus on it. The Holy Spirit board. That's not how it works. This is still evil. You can't put a Christian stamp on something that's evil. This is divination to the core. And look at this one. Oh, well, now my kids can finally meet Grandma, dead Grandma, by the way, with my first seance playset. Look at that. Fisher-Price is my first seance. And Deuteronomy says, it's an abomination. Tell your kids, oh, yeah, you never met your grandmother, but if she was alive, she would love you. But you could talk to her. Yeah. Go talk to her, not Ouija board. Yeah, go right for it, right? Yeah. And look at this for the young kids. Oh, yeah, let's play Psychic Circle. A rare vintage 1993. It's kind of weird when you say 1993 is vintage, because I was 11th grade at that year. So it's kind of, wow, it makes you feel old to say vintage in 1993. That's crazy. But anyway, a rare vintage 1993, the Psychic Circle, the magical message board Ouija-style game. So let's, on a Friday night, let's get together with all our friends. Let's play this awesome game called Psychic Circle. Yeah, nothing could go wrong, huh? Yeah, right. And look at this. It doesn't stop there. Oh, crystal ball set. Yeah. See the future. Let's use this method called scrying. That's what they use. It's a thing called scrying. It's what Nostradamus used. It's basically staring into a black mirror, which Walmart sells, by the way. Believe it or not. They sell black mirrors. And black mirrors are a bowl of water or a crystal ball. Anything shiny, you stare into it and you start seeing visions, right? It's called scrying. And I don't suggest people to do that. And basically, you're tapping into the demonic world. You will see some visions and stuff, but a lot of it's fogged with lies. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, the demonic world, they know a lot of truth that's going to happen in the future. They already know. You know what I mean? That things are already laid out. So they'll tell you some of it, but they'll convolute it with a lot of lies. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's teach the kids how to do that. Oh, let's play along. Yeah, more divination. It's funny, too, because when you talk to it, it's not divination. What do you call it then? When you talk to the dead, it's called divination. When you use crystals, when you use pendulums, when you use Ouija boards, when you use crystal balls, that's divination. When you use tarot cards, and I didn't have any tarot card things in here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do have tarot cards for kids. Actually, you know what? Let me look that up right now because they do. All right. Yeah. So yeah, let's get our kids some tarot cards. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic, by the way, guys. So if you don't know already, yeah, tarot cards for kids. Look at that. Let's teach our kids how to read cards. Yeah, so awesome, huh? Oh, it's innocent. It's a kid's thing, right? Yeah, you're so innocent. Yeah. Tarot Cards for Kids. And by Teresa Reed and Kaylee Whitman. And I tell you, Teresa and Kaylee, if you could ever hear me, yeah, you guys got to pay a heavy price before the Lord for this. Oh, wow. Every child that touches these cards, you're going to pay for. Plain and simple. The Bible makes that very clear. It just makes me angry. And now, again, I'd be sarcastic with a lot of stuff, guys. I would never in the world at all condone any parents to buy the stuff for their kids or the parents themselves. And look at this magic box, right? What the hell is this? A Mirror of Transylvania. So this is like a form of a Dybbuk box, which is in Jewish mysticism. It's a Dybbuk box. I mean, they made movies on this stuff too. And it's another form of divination too. Yeah, look at that. Let's have a magic box. Have that in your house, yeah. Oh, it's just a toy. Who cares? Yeah, keep thinking that. Why would you buy your kids that? And look at that paper with the symbolism on it. As above, so below duality. There's a lot of symbolism in there. The vulva with the circle, which in the cult world, everything's perverted. See the circle at the top there with the point in the middle? Yeah, that's it's a sexual penetration thing. Everything in the occult, with the true meanings of things are occultic, perverted things. There's many, in the occult world too, symbolism. There's exoteric meanings, which is thousands of meanings, but they're all wrong. And when you get to a certain level where they teach you the esoteric meanings, which is one or two true meanings of that symbol. You know what I mean? So same thing applies to Freemasonry and the secret societies. And boy, don't worry, because in Freemasonry, they got one for the kids too. For the little girls, you little girls that want to join Freemasonry, we got Job's daughters. Oh, don't worry, little boys, because we got the D. Malays. The little boys, you want to become a Mason like your daddy? We got the D. Malays organization for you to join. Yeah, we'll teach you some esoteric stuff. We'll teach you some ungodly stuff. And not to mention that D. Malays was named after a gentleman called Jacques D. Malay, a French Freemason, which was said to be a complete pedophile. So yeah, what a smack in the face that is. Let's name a child organization of Masonry after Jacques D. Malay, an occultist and a pedophile. Good job, right? And then, teach your little daughters to join there's a few of them. There's Job's daughters, and there's what's the other one called? Oh man, there's 2 or 3 sects for the females, for little girls and the adults. The Eastern Star is a women's organization for the Freemasons. Yeah, so it doesn't stop there, And let's get real. Most aesthetically beautiful wand, hands down. So we already discussed that with the Harry Potter wands, but yeah, there's certain wands you could buy. Real wands, and they sell them for kids. And we already went over this here. And look, the child protection spell. Safe and protected. This child will be until he or she returns to me, goddess or mother, our mother. I'm not going to repeat that. That is a spell. I thought it was describing it, but I'm not going to recite that. God forgive me for that. And don't recite that. But that's a little spell. Literally praying to a goddess or fate, which is a demon spirit, to keep your kids safe. Child protection spell. How about we say a prayer for the child, like I do every night? I'll say a prayer for my child, right? When he's sleeping, I will pray over him and pray for Jesus, the blood of Jesus to protect him, and the Holy Spirit to have a wall of fire around him to keep him safe from all harm, from evil, right? That's how you pray. And you pray with the child and for his safety. You don't go to evil to pray to keep your child safe from evil. It doesn't work that way. It's unreal. But they got all these little spell books. Crimson Twill, Witch in the Cities, little kid books. Look at the cute little witch. Look at all these little witch snitch, witch wars. Not just the witch, witchy witch, and all these little cute little kids books. And let's not forget the Children's Book of Demons. Oh yeah, this was at Walmart actually. They sell this book, teaching kids about demons, not in a biblical way for education purposes. No, teach them about demons in the light way, like they're okay. Children's book, yes, nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah. And again, the Bible says, Deuteronomy 18, 10 and 11, says, there shall not be found among anyone, right, that makes a son and daughter go through the fire, they use divination or observer times or enchanter or a witch or a charmer or a consultant with familiar spirits or a wizard or a necromancer. Everything we just showed you, right, the Bible says all of that not to do. And here, before we get to the rest of the slides, back to the Satanic Temple, right? So we know about this whole abortion thing going on and all that. So anyway, the state of Texas filed in which they overruled you can't get abortions, post-birth abortion, whatever the case, right? So the Satanic Temple, they have one of the little clubs down in Texas. So the Satanic Temple sues Texas for abortion restrictions that impedes against the Satanic Temple's religious abortion rights. Remember we just heard earlier that Lucius Greaves, the clown who runs this temple, he said, about religion, bashing religion, but yet he claims religious rights. But yeah, they said it's a religious right to kill a baby. If that doesn't shock you, I don't know what does. And they had filed a lawsuit in the United States District Court for the Southern District Court of Texas, Houston Division, alleging that certain state-mandated abortion restrictions violate the Church of Satan, Satanic Temple, members' religious beliefs. So it's a religious belief to kill babies? No, that's an occult. So we all know how happened that Roe versus Wade stuff, or all that stuff. So yeah, the Satanic Temple, they said, is their right to have an abortion, their right to slaughter a baby. Yeah, that's what they believe, right? They committed to supporting the LGBTQWRS, whatever the hell they are, the Rainbow Goose members. Bodily autonomy has been central pillar of Satanic Temple's mission since founded. And trans members, they support all this, godless perversion and everything else, and the act of killing babies. Yeah, but well, they're innocent. You want to have after-school Satan club? Yeah, witchcraft. Well, they're innocent, but yet they support abortion. They claim for their children's rights, right? But yet they want to kill babies. How does that work out for you? And there's a court case, and the court shot it down. Of course, the court said no. We're not going to. I don't know where the article went. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, judge dismisses Satanic Temple lawsuit. So they filed a lawsuit, and a federal judge dismissed the Satanic Temple lawsuit that sought to strike down Indiana's abortion ban. So in Indiana, the Church of Satan tried to sue the state of Indiana, and they brought it to court to say it violates their religious rights to have abortions. So the federal judge says, no, this case is dismissed. You're not doing nothing. We're going to honor Indiana's abortion ban. And it just shows you their agenda, guys. Not just them, but all in the cult. Their agenda is to indoctrinate children. And look at their list of holidays. And again, like I said earlier, there are many levels of Satanism, witchcraft, and all that stuff. Not all of them attack children, but still, it's still evil. I'm not glorifying any of it. But for the most part, this is a list of satanic holidays and all that. So this is the date, the celebration, the type, the usage, and the age, right? So these are ritual sacrifices and stuff that they do at the highest levels, just about, right? And again, it varies a little bit. Depends on the order, the level, whatnot. They vary a little bit, or whatever the case, right? So this is just a roundabout general of what a lot of these top Satanist groups do, right? New Year's Eve, they have a Druid festival, and the ages they do these festivals at 15 to 33. And then on January 7th, St. Winbald Day, it's a blood type sacrifice. It's an animal and or human sacrifice to be dismembered. That means to cut the body parts off. Male if human. It has to be a male, right? Now, if you remember Aleister Crowley we talked about, right? Aleister Crowley, his rituals were using young male children. They would take a young, sorry to sound graphic, guys, but again, we have to tell the truth. What they would do, it was his form of magic. And, Aleister Crowley had his form of magic with a K instead of a C at the end. So what they would do, and sickening stuff, but he would take a young boy, young age boy, age of innocence, right? Have sex, sodomy, if you know what sodomy is, with the young boy, then sacrifice it. So they would collect the blood of the sacrificed kids, because what they would do is they would get the kids so afraid that their adrenaline's rushing, make that blood sacrifice, and they would drink the adrenochrome, the adrenalized blood of the children. And they believe to give them extra life. They believe that because the Bible says all life is in the blood, right? So again, the occult used the Bible stuff, but they twist it to their version, right? It's a satanic twisted version of what the Bible says. So they use that to believe that the adrenalized blood of a child is going to help you live longer. It gives you purification to live longer and all that stuff, right? And this is stuff that goes on to this day. Even to this day, adrenochrome, like for a little vial, you're paying thousands of dollars. Because they have to make the child like afraid, like heightened, when you get fight or fright. When you get the fight or fright, you get a rush of adrenaline, you do superhuman things. So they get the kid to that stage, then that's when they kill the kid. When the blood is rushing through you, and they kill the kid and they collect that blood. And that, oh man, Alistair Crowley, that guy's rotting in hell right now. And he's going to like a fire of all the stuff he's did. I think one of his books, I keep forgetting the name of the book, he claimed that within 1 year, he did this to at least 150 male children. Yeah. Had sex with the child, robbed its innocence, because they believe when you take the innocence away from a child, you're giving seething energies to these demons. And in return, they give you this adrenalized blood that helps you prolong your life. And it gets into the Kabbalah stuff and all. It is sick, dark stuff. It really is. So again, it's your children. Look at January 17th, right? It's a Satanic Revels celebration. It's a sexual ritual. Stop highlighting all that. Sexual ritual. And the usage is oral, anal, or vaginal to penetrate the child, right? The child, it's got to be a female, 7 to 17 years old. So imagine taking a 7-year-old little girl, orally, anally, and vaginally penetrating it. Sorry to sound gross, but that's what it's a sexual thing, right? Yeah. So all to honor Satan. This one here, January 20th to 27th, abduction ceremony preparation and holding of sacrificial victims of Candlemas. It's a sexual and blood type ritual. It's oral, anal, vaginal, and human sacrifice. It's got to be a female or child of any age. And it is just disgusting. Like, they got ones that cast the spells, and the ones with blood here, these are, the ones right in the middle here, the sacrifices, type sacrifices, blood, sexual blood orgies, which is sexual, right? Yeah. Any age, male or female, human or animal. So they get together and have these big orgies with a bunch of kids and animals. Violating every hole that they got in them. Not to sound disgusting graphic, but yeah. This one here, look at this, March 1st, St. Ichta, right? Blood sacrifice, drinking of human blood for strength and homage to the demons. Like I just got done talking about that, right? It's any age, male or female. And it's just disgusting, it really is. You know what I mean? Another one here, sexual one. And it's one at the end here, Good Friday of Passion, the death of Christ. It's a blood sacrifice, human sacrifice, and male don't. And there's more too. I don't know where the rest went. There it is, right here. So I'm not going to go over every one of these, but you get the point, guys. Yeah, a lot of these, and if you look to the right all the way, and you'll see the ages here. Adults here, age 1 to 25 female. A girl, imagine 1 year old. You sit there and penetrate it, the girl, orally, anally, and vaginally. Yeah, 1 year old, sick people. And this is why the occult was outlawed in this country, in the UK too. And people say, oh, it's, they're right to have, it's like, and I'm not saying all Satanists and witches do this stuff, guys. They do different things to harm children, different things to harm themselves spiritually. But this is what generally goes on. This is why it's been outlawed. Because they, historically, especially the Druid witches, the Celtic witches, they use children for mass sacrifices, even to this day. I don't know if y'all seen a Halloween 4, I think it is. Let me pull that up. But yeah, this is crazy stuff. Look at this. Eddie made male, female, 7-year-old female, infant. Look at that. This is probably the most disgusting, right? September 7th is Marriage to the Beast ceremony. It's a sexual ritual and dismemberment. So it's a blood sacrifice. Come on, stupid thing. So right there. So sacrifice, and it's an infant to 21-year-old female. So imagine an infant little girl. Just unspeakable horror. And you can see here, the rest of it here, whatever the case. But this is what they do. You know what I mean? And let me pull that. What was like? The Halloween 4, I think it was. Kids Mass. No, it's not. Part 4. Halloween 3. All right, yeah. So let me pull this up here. So there's a reason why I'm doing this for, because in this movie, I don't know if you're aware or not. So the creator, what's his name here? He's the one who made the movie They Live. John Carpenter, right here. So this man here, right? He told people a lot of truth through movies. Especially being in the Hollywood world, he couldn't come out exactly and just say it directly. He had to put his stuff into movies because they would have killed him. Or blackballed him from Hollywood, right? So in this movie, this is the only movie of the Halloweens that Michael Myers was in it. Michael Myers is like a Jason Voorhees type character. He's got a hockey mask and whatever, and he kills people. It's like a demon, whatever. But of all the Halloweens, this was the only one that did not have Michael Myers in it. So this one here, he exposed mind control, right? And the Celtic witches. So basically in the movie, let me see if I get some slides on this here. It was on, for Halloween, and they were advertising this company out of Ireland, I think it was. And this company was selling Halloween masks all over the world. They were very popular. See the kids right there with the mask right there? So they were selling these cool-looking masks all over the world, right? And they were telling the kids, you need to buy the mask, and you're going to need to be at your TV at midnight on Halloween night, right? And this was a big trend going on in the movie. Every kid had to wear this mask for Halloween, right? Because the Druids and the Celtics and all that, they do, on Halloween night, to this day, they still do a child sacrifice on these nights. We've done a lot of Halloween shows and, Special Warfare Friday to expose the stuff. And so in the movie, to do a mass sacrifice, a worldwide sacrifice, they had this big company sponsor these masks, right? And the kids had to put these masks on at Halloween night, right? So basically when it turned midnight, they had a device inside the mask, embedded in the mask where the forehead is. And the device was a radioactive, it's something that would penetrate the head. It would literally explode. Like a little exploding device that would pop and kill the kid. So basically all the kids had to be at the TV and they had to watch the program to be live interacting with this program, and they had the mask on. So at midnight, it would send a signal out to the TV worldwide, and the devices would explode in the kids' foreheads, killing the kids. And this was a mass sacrifice. That's what the movie was about. But in the movie, though, it does show a lot of Celtic and Druid sacrifices that, that still go on to this day, and they target children. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to watch it, just pray for us, of course. But he does expose a lot of the mind control in here, and he does expose. And this here, that's the Michael Myers. He's like a Jason Voorhees type guy. But this is the only movie. I said, why? Yeah, why wasn't he in the movie? All right, they were going different directions, whatever the case. But yeah, So that's they were selling all these masks. You know, it's kind of creepy. This is creepy, right? Check this out, right? Let me see. Was it McDonald's or McDonald's Halloween buckets, right? That's weird how that just popped up. Tell me Google ain't spying on you. Look at this, right? These are the McDonald's Halloween buckets, right? I think they were back in the 1980s when this movie came out. Look, pumpkin, witch, skeleton, right? Pumpkin, witch, skeleton. You look at that. Pumpkin, witch, skeleton. White, you know what I mean? You can't make that stuff up. That was from the movie. This is from the movie, right? This is what they were advertising in the movie. And that symbol there, Silver Shamrock Novelties. It was a company out of Ireland that was selling these masks in the movie, right? And look at these 3 masks, right? And at the same time, McDonald's had the Happy Meals that came in Halloween buckets. Yeah, and you can't make that up. Red, green, and white, right? Yeah, look. Red, well, orange, whatever, green and white. You can't make this stuff up. You know, and again, McDonald's is using the stuff. Oh, Halloween Happy Meal, yeah, you're indoctrinating kids to the occult. And Halloween, we did shows on that. And Halloween, I think, is probably historically is the most indoctrinating tool for children into the occult. Because at the time it comes out, you got horror movies that come out, scary little cartoons, ghostly things and everything else. And what it does is it gets the kids enticed into the occult, into the dead, into the unknown. You know what I mean? So that's been the biggest tool to do that. And here's the thing too about Halloween, right? Sure, your kid's not being sacrificed. But originally, modern days, like last 20 years, they've come out costumes like Superman and all these other characters. But originally, when Halloween came to this country, right, it was kids just putting sheets over their head, dressing as dead things. It was all about dead things, right? Vampires, whatever the case. Because when Halloween was to push, it was to do a mock sacrifice. Kids walk around, sure, they're not being killed, but they're walking around and they're still partaking in this ritual because it's a mock sacrifice. It's still giving seed and energies these demon spirits and the witchcraft covenants and all that stuff. So if you look at the festival, it's called Samhain. It's a 3-day festival. I forget the first one's called. Then it's Hell Night the day before. No, yeah, I'm sorry. Hell Night on the 30th. The 31st is Halloween. It's called Samhain. And the first is called All Souls and All Saints Day and all that stuff. It's a giant festival. It's nothing to do with souls and saints and like that. The Catholic Church tries to glorify something evil. It's a pagan system, you know what I mean? It's a giant festival that a lot of innocent people to this day die. And mainly kids. They're all attacking your kids, you know what I mean? That's all it's all about. And yeah, the Bible makes it very clear, guys. Don't do this. Don't. And the thing is, too, dressing your kid as a dead thing, okay, you're mock sacrificing, you're still making your kid go through the fire, but spiritually. You know what I mean? And the Bible says, fathers, don't provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture of an admonition of the Lord. So you got 2 verses here. Where is it here? Right there. Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up the child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it, right? And right over in Ephesians 6:4 says, fathers, don't provoke you. I'm sorry, Mark 9:42. And whoever shall, no, I'm sorry, guys. Ephesians 6:4, fathers, don't provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and the admiration of the Lord. That's your job as a parent. So if you want to be a lazy parent to say, oh, I don't have time for that. When the kids grow up to understand things, then, I'll let them decide. You are lazy. Plain and simple. And you're setting your children up for spiritual death. You're playing spiritual roulette. That's what you're doing. And sure, when your kid gets old enough and whatever he or she chooses to do, it's out of your control. But you as a parent have done your job. And you will not be held accountable before the Lord. So if that kid grows up, you don't train that kid in the way of the Lord, and he or she grows up to do these bad things, whatever the case, you're responsible for that kid. You have to face that on Judgment Day. Plain and simple. And so, you don't be lazy. It is your parental duty to do this, right? And Mark 9:42 says, whoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, Jesus says, right? It would be better for him to tie a millstone around his neck and we're cast into the sea. So what does that mean? So drowning, if you take a survey, right, even to this day, if you ask people, what's your worst fear of dying? Drowning is one of the biggest, if not the biggest fear of people dying, right? How they should die, right? So Jesus is saying, what is he saying in this verse here? And it's the same verse that we read in Matthew too. Right here. Let me see. It's the same verse, but, Matthew's point here. Then you got Mark's point. Right? What is Jesus saying here? It would be better for you, for people who mislead children, this is mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, All right, it's better for you to face your most horrible death. Because when you meet the face of God for misleading children, this is for people in the occult and Satanism or whatever the case, yeah, and lazy ass parents, all right, and sorry for swearing, but that's, get off your lazy ass, plain and simple. And this is for all of you, right, that do this, right? It would be better for you to go off yourself in the most fearful way you could possibly imagine than meet in the face of God, because of the hell that's going to come upon you from judgment. One thing God does not tolerate. You could curse God, like Jesus said, you could be forgiven for it and all that, right? But yeah, the Lord does not tolerate when it comes to children. Wow, you think I'm bad, whatever, you have no idea. You will face the most horrific judgment in your life. And the same thing with these people, the abortionists out there. And they got these disgusting ministers out there, disgusting people call themselves ministers or whatever of God, that say abortion is okay when it's not. It was taught by a fallen angel named Cassandra. They taught how to kill the embryo in the womb. That's out of the book of Enoch. And it's against the Lord. You know what I mean? You're killing, you're murdering babies. And that's what you got to face. You better just do whatever like you fear the most, because even that times 10 is nothing compared to what's going to happen to you on Judgment Day. And I know some of you witches out there watching this, whatever, you're probably laughing. Oh, look at this dummy! Ha ha ha! Yeah, keep laughing. I love it too. I do. I want people to laugh. I want you to get all full up of steam and hot air, because here's the thing, when you meet the Lord, like that's when it's going to hit you the most. Yeah, plain and simple. And oh man, these people just get me really. I'm just trying to. Because when it comes to kids, nothing in the world irritates me more when people do this to kids. And Exodus 21:22 says, if a man strives and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit departs from her, that's the baby, right? And no mischief follows, he shall surely be punished according to the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. That was the laws back then. So if you attacked a woman and she caused a miscarriage, that's what it's saying, to lose a child, the punishment would be up to the husband. So if the husband wanted to off you, he could do that. If the husband wanted to just knock your lights out, he could do that. Whatever the husband wanted to do, he could do that. And when you went to court you got arrested, the judge would determine what your fine would be or whatever the case, imprisonment. You know what I mean? But the Bible's full of this stuff here. I'm talking about this, right? Again, Matthew 8:6, it talks about that. It'd be better for you to drown in the depths of the sea than face the Lord. And Luke 18 says, 15-17, and they brought unto him also infants, that he would touch them, but when the disciples saw it, they rebuked him. But Jesus called them out. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So there's people that brought the infants on, because Jesus, I thought it was kids, I messed up earlier, but this is what happened. So Jesus was doing, he's speaking to a lot of people, right? And so there was a woman that would bring the infants to Jesus, right? And it says the disciples saw it, rebuked them. In other words, they held him back, saying, no, he's busy right now. Leave him alone. So Jesus stopped what he's doing right away. It says, but Jesus called unto him and said, now Jesus is talking to the disciples. He said, suffer the little children to come unto me. So in other words, why are you stopping these kids to come unto me? And forbid them not. For such is the kingdom of God. So verily I say unto you, whoever shall not receive the kingdom of God as a little child shall no wise enter therein. So he stopped what he was doing in front of a bunch of adults just to address the situation with these little children. And made an example of what he's trying to say. You know what I mean? And they take these things, the highest levels of cult and these spiritualities, they know the Bible better than most Christians. But they take these things and they'll use a mirror image of this to purposely pervert the word of God and to honor Satan and his demons and his fallen angels. So they do these little rituals that mock off the Bible, but they're mirror images of it. So they would take these children, but they would do sexual things to the children, sacrifice them in the whole 9 yards, right? And complete opposite of what Jesus does. who adores these children. You know what I mean? And I'm going to say this to the people out there. And if you had an abortion, you ask for forgiveness, the Lord's going to forgive you. Your sins are wiped clean, you get a new start. But for people out there who think it's a joke, that think abortion's all person's rights and all that stuff, and everybody, even if you yourself didn't have abortion and you were in favor, you voted for abortion, you had any sort of way at all of promoting abortion and legalizing all that stuff, every one of you are going to meet the Lord. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is where it's going to kill a lot of people. So a lot of people, when they have abortions, right, and they suffer psychological attacks, like literally, and a lot of people, like a good person, right, like you say a 15-year-old girl, right, she's in high school, she gets pregnant, she's scared to death. She's scared to death to go home to tell her parents. The school's saying, oh, no, shh. No, don't worry about it. We could bring you there, get the baby out, your parents are not even going to know. They do this all the time. And so they bring the 15-year-old to the abortion clinic, right? She's scared to death. Poor girl gets the abortion because they talked it into her, right? Harmless, innocent procedure, which is not. And so later on, the girl, grows up, 5-6 years later, she wants to have a child, right? And all of a sudden she starts having flashbacks of what happened. Or just say her sister has or somebody she knows has a baby, they'll go to the hospital to meet the baby, take a picture of it, and you're holding the baby, and you're like, oh man, I just killed one of these. And that's when the psychological issues happen to these women. Good women. Because they've been lied to and coerced into getting abortions. But you got these evil witches out there who love getting abortions. They brag about it. They fully support it. Even if you haven't got one, but fully support it and all that stuff. Say it's a woman's right and all that stuff. Yeah, this was going to happen to you. And this ain't biblical, but I really feel this is what's going to happen. So basically, if you kill those babies, right? And we know the souls are going to go right to the Lord. The souls of those childs are going right to the Lord. They're innocent. They're going to go right to the Lord. And the thing is, when they're in the spirit, they're at that perfect splendor. Beautiful than anything you could imagine. So here's what I feel is going to happen when these people do this, right? When they meet God in Judgment Day, they're going to see the children. They're going to know, because spiritually, you'll know who's who. You know what I mean? And at the day of judgment, they're going to see those children in their most beautiful splendor in the world. And that guilt's going to kill them worse than hell. It's going to be worse than hell to them. That guilt to see that kid, that beautiful soul, that's going to kill them in guilt. Then when you ask them at that point, they'll be asking for forgiveness. They'll want to be with their children because they see what a beautiful soul it is. And nope, they're going to the lake of fire. Never to see your children again, for you to suffer eternity. So if you people out there support abortion, I hope and pray that you absorb this information and understand what's going to happen, the spiritual ramifications, because I'm telling you right now, the Church of Satan, the Satanic Temple, the LGBT, all these Democrats, they're not going to be there with you. Your little groups that go around destroying cities because you want to kill babies, yeah, those clowns are not going to be with you on Judgment Day. You're going to be standing before the Creator by yourself, facing all this. You're not going to have your little rallies up there and having Judgment Day. No. You got to be facing these people, facing the Lord, and facing the saints for judgment. And I would not want to be them. So, just repent. And same thing with you people practice witchcraft and Satanism that target children. If this message has got to you, and I pray it did, and I pray that you can repent. That means turn away from the stuff, ask God, Jesus Christ, for forgiveness, and change your ways. And you will be forgiven instantly, and you'll feel a renewed body. All that guilt and everything will be gone. And you'll feel renewed. So now I would say, let me get to this here. And if you don't know already, guys, hang on a second, because it's very important. So if you want to come to Jesus, this is how you do it. Very simple, right? And Bible says, and if you're one of these people, just pray this right now. You'll be released from your bonds, because when you belong to a covenant, you take oaths and bonds to belong, for that circle and all that stuff. But if you want to be released from that, Satan doesn't own you. You know what I mean? Nobody owns you but Jesus. It doesn't matter what kind of pact you swore to your cult, whatever the case, or whatever contract you made. This could break free. You know what I mean? Once you do this, right? John 3:16-18 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever shall believe in him should not perish," right? In the spiritual sense, you're not going to die, right? But have everlasting life. That's in the spirit world. In other words, you've got to die in the flesh and you will live forever in the second life, right? For God sent not his son into the world to condemn it. He didn't send Jesus in the world to condemn it, but he sent into the world that he might save it. That believe in him. So if you believe in Jesus, he's going to save you. If you believe in him, you're not going to be condemned. But he that believes not is already condemned. So if you don't believe in Jesus, you're already condemned. But if you believe in him, you won't be condemned. Because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. So once again, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever shall believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And for God sent his Son into the world to not to condemn it, but to save it. And he that believes in him is not condemned, but he that doesn't believe in him is already condemned. And because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. So, just like ask God for forgiveness and invite Jesus to your heart and believe in his Lord and Savior. He died on the cross for you, and you'll be released from all that stuff. And if you're teaching kids this stuff, guys, and I didn't even get to the sexual stuff. I mean, that, like I said earlier with the LGBT, with the trans, reading books to kids and them telling kids, okay, they cut off child mutilation they're doing now. There was actually, I think Florida, not Texas or whatever, they outlawed that. There's a lot of bills going through in many states now that strictly prohibiting gender transition for kids. So basically, they're telling the doctors and the parents, you get caught doing this, you go to jail for child endangerment. Puberty blockers too. They have the pills to block you from having puberty, and so they're telling the kids, the parents, you got to get arrested for that, and it should be in every state. And of course, the Democratic states, they allow that to happen. But yeah, and they're pushing post-birth abortion too. Post-birth is horrible. And they really, the Obama administration time was calling up to 3 years old. 3 years old. And if you don't know what post-birth abortion is, it's basically the baby's out of the womb born, and one day you're like, I don't want to be a parent. So they execute the child and call it abortion. Could you only imagine that? I mean, I don't want to bring that up, man, because it makes me sad. You got, oh man, imagine if that went through 2 or 3 year old up to 2 or 3 years old for post-birth abortion. So you get sick of your child and you got this happy little girl or boy, right? 2 years old, they're already walking and everything else. And you grab the kid by the hand, going to the hospital. It's like, oh, where are we going, Mommy? It's like, well, we're going to go to the doctors and to tell that kid that you don't want him or her no more and to walk that child to its death. You got to be one evil son of a bitch. And part of my language, guys, but you got to be one evil son of a bitch to do that. And if any of you, I don't care if it's a woman or not, I will punch you dead in your face. Take that as a threatened promise. If I ever come across somebody like that, if this ever comes to paw, that becomes a law. And if I ever come across anybody that would do that to a child, I will knock you out and I don't care. I would go to jail or pride. Plain and simple. That is so horrific and evil. It's not even funny. And that's nothing compared to what God's going to do. Ooh, man, I tell you, this stuff gets me going, guys. Oh, all right, I just got to reset here. Sorry, guys. But yeah, that's... And the Bible says in Jubilees 23:26 says, in those days the children shall begin to study the laws and to seek the commandments and the return of the path of righteousness. So these are the children that, like nowadays, right? You got some kids that are growing up that are sponges, like my son and all that, or like thirsting for the knowledge of the word, right? Wanting to know the commandments and all that. And this is a book of Jubilees talk about children in the future, right? Not all children, because most of them are misled today because of parents and whatever the case. But yeah, in those days, the children will begin to study the laws and seek the commandments and return to the path of righteousness. The very commandments and laws that the churches today say they're abolished when they're not. The very laws and commandments that Jesus Christ himself told you to keep. Yeah, we've done shows on that too. Yeah. But they tell you, oh, no. I'm not even going to get down that road, but I'm just saying. But guys, if you want to hit me up on prayer requests or you got anything you want to address me about, whatever, take a screenshot of that, whatever. truthradioshow@outlook.com is my email. You can get a hold of me there and just shoot me an email, whatever the case. And yeah, now, by the way, guys, if you, because I get a lot of videos out there. I mean, and I appreciate people sending me videos. But if I was to take... I would have to get a full-time job just to watch movies all day. You know what I mean? Videos. And I appreciate people sending me stuff, but please, if you guys send me some of my show, it's like, oh, check out this guy's show. He's talking about something in there, right? I don't have time to watch an hour, 2-hour show. You know what I mean? I got my own stuff going on, and I don't have time to watch whole videos. So get to the point. Say, listen, check this video out there, and they're talking about something. Put the timestamp in it. Say, from 8 minutes to 9 minutes, they're talking about this. Check it out, right? I'll check it out. But if you send me a video that's 2-3 hours long and whatever, to be honest, I'm not even going to watch it. I don't have time to watch it. Not that I don't want to. I love to do that, but I don't have time to do that. Because I get people send me videos day in and day out, and which I appreciate it. You know what I mean? A lot of people send me shorts, which is great, but when they do send it, again, put the timestamp of what to the point. You know what I mean? And I'll definitely check it out. But I appreciate it, guys, for doing that. So, and again, thank you really for the person who donated. Thank you so much. And if you want to support this ministry, number one, before money, I mean, prayers. Prayers are the most important thing. Pray for the ministry here, myself and the family, everybody here, everybody watching, and everybody affiliated with us, Nice TV, FOJCRadio, Remnant Restoration, Visual Disturbance, and all that. And Course Correction Radio. Pray for all of us as a whole, you know what I mean? And that's number one. But if you do, want to contribute to this operation financially, we got 4 different ways. We got a PayPal, Venmo, CashApp, and that link in the chat room there. And that one in the chat room is cool because you don't have to sign up for nothing. You just donate, even whatever the case you want to donate, and you pay with a card, and that's it. You don't have to go through no sign-up issues and nothing like that. We've been using that for about 2-3 years now, and it's works great, So PayPal, I think you got to become a member or whatever. I don't know, but that link in the chat room, the Ko-Fi link, that's like really cool because it's like again, you don't have to sign up for it. You just put when you want to donate and put your card in. That's it, and it's done. But again, like I said, more important. And I hate, by the way, I hate asking for money. But again, we got the rent here. And by the way, thanks to your contributions, we were able to, because this month of June, I like to be transparent with you guys where the money goes and everything. So this month of June, I got hit bad. I mean, just all at once because we got a lot of annual fees. Like the phone service we use, we pay that once a year. It's a Magic Jack system. The website, annual renewal. What else came up? Then we needed this camera a month ago. This microphone thing earlier, and so all that once, the stuff started piling in, and we just squeaked by, thanks by the Almighty Lord, and you people who donated to the show. So thank you guys very much for that. And so yeah, other than that, just pray for us. Either way, pray for us. That's number one. So check out tomorrow night, the Midnight Ride with David and Donna Carrico, and that's gonna be awesome. No, I'm sorry, David Carrico and John Pounders. And speaking of Donna, she's still in the hospital, by the way, and she's almost there. She's getting healthier, but they'll leave her in there for observation and to make sure she's good before she comes home. So she's getting her strength back and everything else. I guess it was over an infection. She had some infection. She had a cut on her leg or something, and it turned into an infection, and it caused some issues with her. So she was rushed to the hospital. At first, they thought she was having a stroke because she showed like stroke-like symptoms. And David told me all this. But thank God it was just an infection, you know what I mean? So she's almost there, so keep your prayers up for Sister Donna. And coming up next here, we got a questions and answers show on Rumble, and it's right after this, so give me about 5 minutes. And what I'll do now is going to put that link in the chat room here. Let me get that link for you. I'll put it in the chat room, and if you want to call us up, wait till the show starts, so call us up and or just put in the comment section for questions and stuff. Yeah, it's the link in the chat room, so some crazy people outside. There you go. So that's in the chat room. So click on that link, and it's also in the description of the video, and I'll take you over to our Rumble channel. And head over there now, guys. Play in the chat room. And if you're not a member of Rumble, guys, please take. It's going to be a few minutes anyway, so take a couple minutes, go over there, sign up for Rumble, and this way you can participate in the chat room. It's really cool. So it's like this, yeah, you know what I mean? So, and Rumble is free speech, so that's why we go over there for the questions and answers, so you're not limited to what you can and can't say on a call-in show, so that's why we do that. So we have to abide by YouTube's policies, and we use a platform, so we do have to respect their policies. So, yeah, head on over, questions and answers, Rumble show. So, yeah, thank you guys so much. And we were supposed to have Trey on tonight, but pray for Trey in his family too. I guess they got the stomach bug or something, and So he's dealing with a lot of throw up with this family, you know. So God bless him. I don't even have a stomach for that stuff, man. Yeah, I'm like lucky to have a girl that I have because she could tolerate that stuff. It's like when it comes to throw up and stuff, it's like not me, man. So hang on a second. Yeah, so where am I here? All right, I get confused with these slides over here. So where the heck did it go? So I had to move some stuff around my OBS studio here. So trying to locate my outros and all that good stuff. So. Oh, there it is. All right, guys. So go to the bathroom, stretch out, get a cup of coffee, whatever the case, and we'll meet you over there and have some fellowship and all that. So love you all. God bless. Shalom. We'll see you in about 5 minutes.